Hi everyone, my name is Chris McClellan. I'm representing the Ask AI nonprofit, and today I want to introduce a new research project that we're undertaking that will explore artificial intelligence and the future of the marketing profession. At the outset, I want to make it really clear that this is a very open project. We'll be sharing everything, and I want everyone, no matter what part of the marketing world you're coming from, you can see on the screen here, I've listed many of the key disciplines within the profession, to join us and really help take the reins of this runaway horse that is artificial intelligence and its impact on our professional lives. So I would also like to point out that students, consultants, agencies, small businesses, all the way up to enterprise teams, I think they'll get a lot out of this project, either as an observer or as a more of a direct participant, which I'll cover in a sec. So first up, and very quickly, I promise, a little bit about myself and why I feel so passionate about this subject. So for the last 6 years or so, I was working with a very pioneering enterprise data management startup where I learned a ton about the underlying plumbing and raw materials of artificial intelligence, which is data, of course. I'm also a member of the National AI Committee at the Canadian Marketing Association, where I contribute articles and comment on emerging guidelines and playbooks that the committee produces. For the past couple of years, I've also been the technical committee lead at the Digital Governance Council, where I am responsible for the data collaboration framework, which is now an international standard governing human AI collaboration at the data layer. And then finally, since 2017, which seems an awfully long time ago now, I've been the founder and volunteer producer at the Ask AI nonprofit, which is the organization which will host this research project. So why this project and why now? Something that I've noticed is that there's been an overemphasis on AI tools. I mean, if you open your YouTube channel, if you're like me, you're probably going to get a torrent of experts telling you all about the latest shiny object within artificial intelligence and how it's going to change marketing, which is not a bad thing. We need to be very aware, but I think we've gone too far in a focus on tools and specific use cases. Another thing that I've observed is that automation itself, which for many folks might seem as the next phase of their career, that they can go from, traditional marketing to more automated marketing. Well, guess what? Automation is automating at an incredibly fast pace. And so if you're thinking that maybe your next stage in your career is going to be focused on building automations, I really encourage you to do deeper research and think twice about that. It's just astounding how fast this is evolving. I would also highlight the very human impact that all this is having, including on me as a marketer. There's a lot of anxiety, mistrust, and fear, and these are all very natural reactions to what is a really significant change. But what I'm proposing with this research project is that marketers don't just stay in the loop, which is terminology you hear a lot, but get right in the driver's seat and define their own future. So any research project needs an intellectual starting point, and that's what you see on the screen here. It's that AI is not going to replace marketing. Companies still need to go to market and build brands and engage with customers, but it will displace many marketers, particularly those who their skills are more clustered around the use of tools. What we're proposing in this research is that the future will really belong to marketers who can take a more systems level approach and design solutions that involve human AI collaboration and just the right balance. So every research project also comes with a set of assumptions, and I think it's really important those are transparent and brought to the surface right away. So the three that we've identified here are that tools do not amount to a strategy. And I basically just covered that in the reason for that in the previous statement. But the second is that full AI automation, which some folks, some vendors would actually advocate, is not desirable. And there's three images here that unpack that a little bit. The first is the erosion of customer trust. If they see that there are no humans involved, then the social contract, if you will, of them giving up their time in exchange for some value starts to be broken. The second is the sameness problem, where if AI were to be left to its own devices, what we would see almost inevitably is a narrowing of the creativity and diversity in content on the internet as it seeks to prioritize efficiency and productivity over all else. And that would lead to the third problematic outcome, which would be actually AI model decay or model collapse which is bad for AI itself as it trains on its own information. This is also well documented. I'll put a graph here that sort of illustrates it, but it's a bad idea for AI too. So the assumption that we're making or starting from is that human plus AI collaboration is a net positive. It will be good for people to increase their systems level thinking and get deeper into solving more difficult problems and adding more value. And for AI, it will be similarly benefit from the collaboration with people. The research project's going to explore some really interesting questions as they relate to AI in the future of marketing. And the first is, where can human AI collaboration add the greatest value? From customer acquisition through to loyalty, through to developing really unique, compelling customer experiences and content. Which contribution is right? And to add to that, what is the right balance between human and AI contributions to deliver that value most optimally? And then we move on to which frameworks to use. So this is called a collaborative marketing framework, but now I'm talking about prompt frameworks, for example. And what you see on the screen here is 3 images. So I use a lot the roses framework. There's also the clear framework. And then at the bottom there, you see a representation of the crew AI framework. But matching frameworks to solve different issues or problems or challenges within the marketing function is going to be really critical. Also, when to build versus when to buy. That's going to be a really interesting challenge as moving forward. Obviously, AI makes things a lot easier to build than before. So a key question is to figuring out when and where to make that decision. And probably most importantly, it's how to transform teams from where they might be today to where they need to be over the coming months and years. There'll be different types of activities as part of the collaborative marketing framework research project. These include the development of system diagrams so people can actually visualize what's happening at each stage of the framework. Collaboration on build notes, which will offer practical tips for building each of the modules that will be included in the framework. And so really to get practical there. Transformation notes, which will help teams chart a path in terms of job descriptions, job roles, skills, to move from A to B. And then finally, demos, webinars, and content contributions from research participants like you will really add a lot of shape and depth to what we're doing. So that's the collaborative marketing framework. It's a research project, and I would love to get more contribution and involvement from marketers. There's different ways you can do that. You can just follow along to the Ask AI newsletter or our LinkedIn page where you get updates. But you can also get more active and participate. We're also looking for partners. If you're part of an organization that is concerned about AI in the future of marketing, I'd love to hear from you. There is a registration form. I'll provide all the links next to this video. Thank you so much for your time.